All right, and we are back again, another week of good anime and all kinds of stuff. So we're gonna get right into it. It's This Week in Anime number 11. Spoiler alert and disclaimer. All right, first and foremost, I'm gonna be reviewing these episodes, and not so much reviewing as talking about what happened in those episodes and adding in my own thoughts. So yes, there will be spoilers throughout, so be prepared for that. Second, we don't read no manga around here. So only time I really read the manga is when the anime is done and I know that it's continuing on in the manga. That's when I read the manga. This week in Trinity 7, things got a little dicey pretty much, because the group of three, Sora, Mira, and Arata, pretty much got themselves in a bind, because now we know that there is a barrier around the school that pretty much puts it in its own time and space, kind of, really. And it also, as the group found out when Ilya attacked them, that it also cuts off magic. And right about now you're saying, who's Ilya? Well, Ilya is the Grimmer of Hijiri, as we now found out. That is Arata's lost cousin, the person he's been searching for, the person he's doing all this for. And now she is fighting them. She's like, literally, I don't know if she's trying to kill them or what's going on, but pretty much you fast forward and they Arata finally finds the source of the barrier, or so he thinks he did. Well, he pretty much did all right. And what happens? Well, when Sora took over to fight for them and to battle Ilya when she attacked them in the school, she ended up getting captured, and now she's sitting as pretty much the source that is feeling. Her energy is being drained to fuel the barrier. And now Ilya has Mira in a bit of a tight spot, because Arata tried to bargain for Mira's escape, but Ilya pretty much wasn't having that, and now tried to kill her. The moment she started trying to kill her, Arata lost his mind and lost control of his power. And now we get to see what the true form of a demon cannon looks like. The astral entity, astral, what that was called? Astral entity, no, hold on. Second. Astral Trinity, there we go. So now we're gonna wait to see next week what this being is capable of, or if he's even gonna do anything at all. You know, it's anime, they show you something cool and then they do absolutely nothing with it. We'll see next week. Sword Art Online 2 this week was pretty damn sad, actually. I mean, it was damn sad. It was one of the saddest things I have seen in quite some time. And it's just it wasn't, I'm not talking about the quality of the show or anything. No, the show was good. It was a really good show, but it was just sad because now we see who Yuuki is, how the Sleeping Knights got together, and why they are disbanding, and what was the cause of Yuki's tears in the last show. And it just was a terrible thing, because, well, what happened is the Sleeping Knights is literally a group of terminally ill patients that are a part of an experiment. They're using a prototype machine called Medicuboid, or Medicuboid, however you want to pronounce it. And it's an amazing machine. It's an amazing piece of technology that they have. But of course, this is an anime, it's not real life or anything, but it's an amazing machine because it allows these terminally ill, bed-bound patients to be a part of the virtual world 24/7 if they so choose. So what we have here is Yuki's pretty much most of her family is gone. That includes the former leader of the guild. Her sister, Akio, is also gone. They have passed on. Now, her parents, I don't know how they passed on. I'm pretty sure they may not have had a disease or whatever it will be, but for whatever reason, they passed away. Her sister's gone. She's the only one left in the real world as far as her family is concerned. So all she has is the virtual world. And the good doctor is explaining all this to Asuna, and it's really throwing her for a loop. But all the same, she still wants to see Yuuki, and now she wants to see her even more so. Well, she finally sees her. She sees her in the machine, and it turns out that Yuuki is was not like just completely deaf or mute in the machine. She actually has a way to see Asuna standing there at the window looking at her and hear everything that's going on, hear the doctor explaining everything to her. And after all that, you know, Yuuki invites Asuna to meet with her again, which presumably she would assume would be the last time in Sword Art Online, of course. So they meet, and Asuna is listening to one of Yuki's the things that she's always wanted to do. So Asuna's listening to all these dreams of hers, and one of them is to go to school. Now, we know exactly what Asuna meant when she said that there might be a way for her to do that, even though she's bedbound and stuck in this machine. There may be a way for her to do that, and immediately you know that who she is talking about. So next week, let's see if it is the great one, Kirito, that is going to finally allow Yuuki to attend school before she leaves this world, pretty much. So yeah, I don't know why, but I can't wait to see next week, just so I can smile when they make this little girl's dream come true. Psycho-Pass 2, which finally makes it in this week. Yeah, Psycho-Pass 2. It's once again, I mean, it's the same thing as has been in the previous episodes. Every single episode, Kamui finds a way to take it up a notch. However, in this case, this wasn't exactly Kamui's doing, or the evil doing, or whatever you want to call it. This show was Sakuya, the supposed son of Tagane, the director Tagane, or he calls himself the son of Sybil, whatever the hell it is. He was made he's a test tube baby. That's what he is. So there you go. We also find it out in this show as well. But he decides that he wants to use Tsunamori's grandmother against her to I guess to slow her down or throw her off or whatever it is. But it was a plan in cahoots with Kochi, whatever his name is. I can't forget his pronunciation just right. Pretty much Kamui's friend. And this is what I would call that bullshit. All right, this is BS. So what? So pretty much Tsunamori is closing in on Kamui. She's picking apart everything. She's moving forward with all the plans, and she's always just, and I do mean just, behind him. And so she's on her way to a mansion of some place, I can't remember the name of it, where he was supposed to be with a bunch of other peers or people that was working with him. She's right, you know, he was there, but she was slightly too late. The party that he apparently was throwing, or the gathering that he was having, you thought at first that it was just something to congratulate these people who are following him or whatever it is, and it turned out to not be that at all. Pretty much he gathered the people who were abusing the freedom he gave them, and he punished them for it. Most brutally punished them for it. If there was a way to send someone to a hell while still on Earth, this was it. So yeah, he fried that ass, and that's exactly what went down. So by the time Tsunamori came there, the house was already ablaze, on fire, and the only person there was Kochi, his friend. And he, of course, before he was taken away, he made sure he gave Tsunamori his last little present, and that was the ear of his grandmother, of her grandmother, and which sent her nuts. And I guess even while she went nuts, she still was able to maintain her sanity, and that was just a terrible act to do. How you gonna pick up an old lady, man? And yeah, so she got her grandmother's ear in a box, and later on though, she calmed herself down, and just like always, she started using that old noggin and focusing. And she realized that this was a sign that Kamui was ready to end things. He was ready to make his final move. And so now we see what the heck is Kamui planning down in that subway area. What is he doing on that train next week? Akame got killed. Akame got killed this week. Was it blows your mind is what it does. And it's the same thing as I talked about in a This Week in Anime review previously earlier, and that was the main attraction to this series. Is this series is kind of real. I mean, the situations that occur, you don't know who's going to die. This is assassins versus assassins. This is assassins putting their lives on the line. So at any given time, anyone could die. And that is the exact situation of this epic show this week, where it was the Night Raid's final mission to completely overthrow the kingdom, run in there, kill the Minister Honest, and overthrow the Emperor. And so how and pretty much it seemed to be going okay. It seemed to be going to plan, but of course there are all kinds of hiccups. First off, one with the group runs in there. Run from Jaeger shows up, and they have to deal with him. So our lioness lady, of course, decides to take him on, despite it being kind of a weird battle combo, which she found out real quick when she tried to close in on them, and she damn near got herself killed right there trying to do that. While she was doing that, Tatsumi and Akame go ahead right into the Emperor's room to face the guards and to see if they can kill the minister. At first I thought, okay, Tatsumi had the minister dead in his sights. He's gonna thrust in. The minister's probably gonna do some crazy fighting out if he can fight. I have no idea. But oh no, the minister is always crafty. That silver tongue of his always working the puppet strings of the Emperor. And he used that very ability to convince the Emperor to use the kingdom's strongest weapon. They had an Imperial arms down below, which you saw a glimpse of in the last week. And that Imperial arms so happens to be called the Shinko Taser. I might be wrong on that. All right, Shiko Taser, whatever, call it what you want to call it. It's a big ass, dangerous Imperial arms that literally towers over the whole kingdom when it rolls up out the ground. And this took things from like 100 to like well over 9,000 real quick. It was amazingly strong weapon that was unnecessary, probably, I would think, for this kind of condition. I mean, damn. Because when he rolls up out the ground, he started firing on his own people, the kingdom. He blew up half the damn town of innocent people. Hundreds, thousands of people most likely just got incinerated in an instant. Wow. So of course Tatsumi is enraged not by the fact that the Emperor is using the Imperial arms against the Night Raid, but it's the fact that he was also using that same Imperial arms against the innocent people. What did they do? So he starts fighting to try and see if he can bring down this Imperial arms, getting his tail kicked and slammed all over the darn place. Wave shows up in an odd thing to actually team up with Tatsumi, because the only reason Wave joined the Jaegers in the first place was to protect the people of the city, and he is definitely not against. He's definitely against the Imperial arms and the use of it, the way the Emperor is doing it. So the combined strength of Tatsumi and Wave is what's trying to they're trying to bring this Imperial arms down. My recorder is falling. Fast forward, and as you pretty much probably would have guessed. This thing is huge, it's powerful, and the only way that they were able to bring it down was with a human sacrifice, and that sacrifice being Tatsumi himself. Yes, the guy who we all thought was the main character, even though his name is not in the title, he is the one that brought this beast down and gave up his own life in order to do it. And Akame was there holding him in his hands, and Esdeath was there too as well. She actually saw Tatsumi's body. So my question is, what will these two do next week now that seeing Tatsumi has died for this, and Esdeath's lover, even though he didn't really love her back, but she loved him. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I know what Wave and Run is going to do, since they actually had to team up with the Night Raid in order to save the innocent people, because those two are for the people. They weren't really for the kingdom. So I have no idea. We'll see next week. World Trigger. You guys know how much I love this series. World Trigger this week, not that much happened. It was mostly a bunch of explanations on the different fractions of Border. There's 3 fractions. Why I keep saying fractions? Factions. 3 groups, 3 sides of Border, and they all have different views of the neighbors and how to approach them. So yeah, the thing about it is, this also means that there's a struggle for power between these 3 sides within Border, which creates a bit of a problem, considering that the side that Jin is on is not the same side as Director Kido is on. So this is a bit of a problem, because when Director Kido gave Jin an order, Jin simply said, "No, I can't do nothing for you, because you're not my director, you're not my boss. You have to go through my boss to give me that order." Jin's boss is actually Jin's director, Rendo, is the only one that can give him such an order, or damn near any orders, really when it really comes down to it. So Director Kido asks Rendo to give him the same order, and Rendo gives him the order, but not exactly the way that Kido would want him to. Not the exact order. He left that execution part out. Instead, all he told Jin was to handle it in the way he felt best. So in other words, he could kill Kuga in order to get the black trigger, or he could simply convince Kuga to join under Rendo, which will give Rendo 2 people that have a black trigger, which doesn't set well with Director Kido, who doesn't have any, but he does have some strong teams underneath him. So what Director Kido is going to do is wait for those strong teams to come on back, and once they do, all hell is probably going to break loose, because Director Kido is going to order those teams to go directly for Kuga and steal that black trigger for himself. And you know, this is just a mess, really. So we're going to see next week how all of this is going to go down. Thank you guys for watching This Week in Anime number 11. That'll do it for this week. We'll come back next week and see what we have. Just in case you guys are wondering why shows like Psycho-Pass was in this week's show and not last week's show, is because I give the cutoff for any anime I talk about on Saturday, and I believe shows like Psycho-Pass don't show up until that late Sunday or Monday on my streaming channels. So that was the reason why that anime was in this show. So, or that episode I should say was in this show. So with that being said, I will see you guys next week. Don't forget to check out the links in the description for all my social networks. Don't forget to check out the article on the website where I talk about a lot more of the anime that just did not make it into this show. There's only a couple more there. So check out the article, check out my social networks, you know, give me a like if you liked it, and thanks so much for watching. You guys have a good one. Bye.